The California story has many chapters. It's a story of icons, of imagination, and challenging the status quo. A story you'll find at the Oakland Museum of California. The story of California, the story of you.
Good news in Oakland! Oh yeah, it feels great.
Good News in Oakland reporting on the 2010 Mayoral Candidates Forum with Mayoral Candidate Jean Quan. Jean, welcome to Good News in Oakland. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for doing catch up with me. I know that I'm the last one.
Jean, last, but we definitely had to have you on the show. Jean, tax deficiencies, audit disclosure deficiencies, budget crises, pension and salary issues. How can we trust you to lead Oakland and the constituents in this current state of the city?
Well, you asked this of all the candidates, right? And so I'm probably one of the few people who has actually a track record on this, who's been always very open, has tried to make the budget process very, very open. You can go to the oaklandbudgetchallenge.com and try to balance the budget yourself. Those are the kinds of things that I've innovated so that people will have input. You know, I went to over 10 community hearings. I made sure that we had extra budget hearings. And we're in the worst recession that we've been since the Depression. And so the question is it going to be fair and is it going to be balanced? And I'm probably the only mayoral candidate that actually has a budget. You know, Mr. Proud says, oh, don't lay off costs, but then he won't say how he'll balance the budget. He won't say whether he'll cut the libraries or the parks and rec. And I've been out there to say that it has to be a combination, that the police have to pay their pension and we have to protect services, particularly like after school programs and parks and rec, because if you cut those, you're going to have an increase in crime too. So you have to have a balanced approach. And I think the reason you can trust me is because I have a long track record. I've always been very accessible to the community, and you can judge me by what I've done.
Now, speaking of judging you by what you've done, when you and your administration get into office, what media strategy will you put in place to make sure there's visibility about the good news you're doing and supporting local outlets like Good News in Oakland to really get the good news stories out?
You know, I think that there's about 10,000 people in this town who subscribe to my newsletter. And I've done a weekly newsletter. In fact, we had our 400th newsletter. And you can imagine that that means my office and my staff has done a newsletter every week since I've been in office, pretty much except for some holidays and vacations, so that people in Oakland would know what's happening. And I always have a balance of what the top political issues are that are coming up and good news. So I'll have great pictures from the Creek to Bay from last weekend and from our concert that we're having up in the Redwoods. This week, by the way, Angie Stone is already sold out. That's a good news event, not only because it really showcases Oakland talent, but because it brings the community, which is very diverse, in a very special way. So I do my weekly newsletter. I plan as mayor to continue to do that. I do special things like this sort of budget game where you can try to decide how to balance the budget yourself. I plan to have open public town hall meetings every month. I plan to attend the council meetings as a mayor so that people can hear what I'm thinking of and also see what the mayor is doing. I plan to put my schedule on the internet so you can see who I'm meeting with, no backroom deals, you know, so that you can have, so you have real access. So I use the internet probably more than most political people in the system. I'm learning how to do Facebook, you know, and you may have just seen our brand new videos, 2 of them that were done by young people who are working on our campaign. One is a song about organizing block to block, which is how I think you fundamentally make change in Oakland. And the other one is a young group of rappers, and it's filmed in East Oakland, and it's the promo for our meeting in East Oakland this week.
Well, Jean, we know you got to run off. You've got other places to be seen and be heard. We thank you so much for being on Good News in Oakland. We want to say thank you to the League of Women Voters, Oakland Chamber of Commerce, and the Bay Area Business Roundtable for putting on last Thursday's forum. And thank you, Jean, again for being on Good News in Oakland.
And thank you for your steady coverage of the different forums. Very few people have been there as consistently as you have. Thank you.
The California story has many chapters. It's a story of icons, of imagination, and challenging the status quo. A story you'll find at the Oakland Museum of California. The story of California, the story of you.
Good news in Oakland! Oh yeah, it feels great.